Seksan Nang, it's so good to see you here in Astana. And actually, I personally feel so privileged that finally a colleague from Thailand is interested to know more about our region. And of course, we are thrilled to have an expertise on Southeast Asia. As I told you before, like this is something which is still missing in area studies.
Hello, dear professor. This is a really big honor for us students to ask you to, and it is very valuable for us that you shared with your expertise. So please, let's start with the first question. Could you tell the basics or fundamental ways of Thailand's foreign policy? It could be in a global scale. It also could be in a regional. How Thailand can present itself as a state, as a country in international relations.
Thank you very much, my niece, Selamat Sistema, and our Kazakhstan niece and nephews. I'm Seksan, Sawadee-krap, I'm from Thailand. And before I start, I wish to express my appreciation to you and to the university that invites me to be the first Thai scholar to have this lecture, and it's my greatest honor. When it comes to Thai foreign policy, I wish to share with you some elements. The first element, I think, is clear that Thai policy is always proactive. What does it mean by proactive? I think when I say proactive, it means that we know where do we want to go. We know what we want, and then we work to fulfill the promise. We work to fulfill step by step in order to achieve that goal that we expect to see. And that goal is actually always reflected by national interest from domestic stakeholders. So I think this is a kind of the linkage between inside and outside the world of foreign affairs. Second element, I would say that Thailand is always internationalist. When I say internationalist, it means that you see the world bigger than yourself. One side, you protect the national interest. Another side, you protect regional and global interest, which is peace and prosperity. I think this is really important, and I think this is a key message I want to tell to my nieces and nephews, that we are now living in a very difficult world. You see many wars, many conflicts, but we always want peace and prosperity. We want to be happy with our life. We want to have happy family. We want to have happy community. So we can start by reflecting our voice that peace now, peace please, something like this. And the third element, I think Thailand is always adhere to multilateralism because we are a middle country that acts proactively. So we realize that regional problems now these days are interconnected and multidimensional. So no single country can solve this problem by itself. But we need collaboration from different countries, different actors and stakeholders in order to solve the problem together. So I think this is why Thailand is always promoting ASEAN as its key foreign policy.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned ASEAN, and it's really great because my second question is what's Thai's regional policy? So for all people from Thailand, do they have any advantages, or for the government, do they see any advantages in regional policy?
Yeah. Various analysts say that ASEAN is a backbone of Thai foreign policy because Thailand has been playing a very active role in engaging different players in promoting regionalism or regional sense in Southeast Asia. Thailand is the country that established ASEAN because we invited 5 foreign ministers to Thailand and discussed about the future of this region back in 1967. And on August 8th, these foreign ministers agreed to establish a so-called ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nations, to be the future of the region, that we will work together. I think throughout 50 years, although we realize that sometimes there are problems, there are issues, but a special characteristic of ASEAN is still kind of consistency of ASEAN. Some regional organizations, you may have heard that some members left, but ASEAN, we still have 10 members, and we still have plans to expand more and more our partners. So far, we have more than 50 countries to join the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation. We call it high contracting parties. So this means that ASEAN welcomes all, and at the same time threatens none. Everyone can be friend of ASEAN. I think it's a very basic principle, and similar to Thailand's foreign policy that you are friendly to everyone. I don't say neutrality because sometimes neutrality means nothing, means that you have no idea what to tell. But I would say Thai foreign policy is more like friendly policy because we have no enemy. I can say that these days we have no formal enemy for Thailand. So I think this is one thing that we can learn. Thailand also pushes for the concept of so-called connectivity. There are three things in the connectivity: logistics connectivity, the linkage between road, rail, plane, and something that facilitate the communication and kind of the travel. Second one is the institutional connectivity, which means that we need rules and regulations that each country will kind of send their products, services freely. So it's like free flow of products and services, and we need the rules and regulations that facilitate this kind of free flow. For example, when you drive carrying a kind of commodity from Vietnam, when you pass the border at the Lao PDR, you need some kind of system that facilitate you, like you can drive through, drive past, no need to like up and down to change the car. This is what we achieve to be. And when you pass the border Lao PDR and Thailand, you just go through it. I think this is what we want to achieve in the future. And the last one, I think one of the most important, is the people-to-people connectivity. I think this is a really important concept. And I think this is why I'm here in Kazakhstan these days, because I want to promote people-to-people connectivity. Although I'm not the expert on Central Asia, but I would say that Central Asia has some special characteristics and has some special roles to play in the world.
Oh, that's great, because my third question is, it's not mostly the question, but I would like you to share your opinion about the relation between Central Asia, mostly diplomatic relation between Central Asia and Thailand, please.
If I may borrow from the previous question, the concept of connectivity is important. The first one is logistics connectivity. I see a great opportunity for Central Asia, especially Kazakhstan, to be the hub of logistics connectivity. I heard that these days there are two main routes that the entrepreneurs kind of considering important, because we realize that the northern corridor is about Russia, connects to Europe, has some kind of issues due to the geopolitical competition. And second route, the ocean route, like traveling from the Pacific to Indian Ocean to Atlantic Ocean, that's very long time. It takes very long time for carrying anything. So we find the best route is here, Central Asia. We call it the not central, middle corridor. The middle corridor, so Trans-Caspian route thing, that traveling from Yungang, China to Xi'an, and then past Kazakhstan to Aktau port, Greek port, and then to Baku, Azerbaijan, your mother country.
Yes.
So that can be one thing that is a kind of the new route we have. Another route perhaps from Karachi, Pakistan to Turkmenistan, and then to Kazakhstan again. So Kazakhstan will get kind of benefits from these two routes that much. So I think this is really important that we promote connection from this. Second one, I think, is about institutional or perhaps policy connectivity. In the future, I would say that we are facing three biggest challenges in terms of foreign affairs. The first one is, as we know, geopolitical competition. The second one is, you may never imagine, climate change will change the world. I think realized that recently there was a big rain in Spain, and that big rain killed many Spanish people, 300. They think this is more than war, than any war conflicts. So climate change can kill us. and you have no way to negotiate with the cloud or the rain when it takes place. This is very different from the case of conflict and war, that you can go back to the negotiation table. But for climate change, you cannot negotiate. You have only one way, is the way that you reduce the kind of carbon or greenhouse gas. So I think this is why it's very important. I always argue to my friends that you will not be destroyed by any wars, but by climate change, including extreme heat, heavy rain, drought, and anything that could cause security issues. In some countries, you can try to immigrate because you cannot live in that place that when it faces a kind of the great catastrophe or disaster. So you have to move to other place. So I think this is a serious issue that I would like to share with you. And I think there will be some kind of lessons learned from COP, which is Conference of Parties Climate Change, that the world is trying to make it progressive as much as possible. But with the advent of the new US President Trump, we're still not sure whether multilateralism will be kind of going well as we may expect. And I think the last one, another important issue, is the linkage between the, let's say, online world and offline world. Because what you post online may have an offline effect. Like, for example, when you post something about, if you're an influencer and you post something about other country in a negative way, perhaps people in that country criticize you back, and then that could cause a kind of the online war. And if that ends in the online war, it's fine. But sometimes the kind of controversy on the online world always affects in the real world. And I think this is something that we should be aware. These days, you may have heard about disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. This is another thing that we should care, because we are now living in a very different world. I think we have to be ready for changes and also make a continuity of good things that we made in the past and keep it, maintain it to send to our future generations.
Thank you very much for this brilliant lecture, and I said brilliant interview. You shared a lot of ideas that I think personally will help our young scholars with their researches, to help understand deeply the culture or the diplomatic relations, the dynamic in the international relation around Thailand. And also you shared your view in a global arena. So thank you very much. On the behalf of our forum group, I would like to thank you one more time, because it's a really big benefit to be someone who asks you directly, and the sharing of these thoughts will definitely help. Thank you.
Thank you, and look forward to meeting all of you. I have many things more to share, but let's meet in the lecture room. Yeah, I'm talking with my niece.
Yes, you're talking with your
record the
niece.
video.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
discussing with my niece about Genshin game and how this affects or how this relates to international relations.
Genshin games, you
Genshin
mean?
games. Good topic.
Yeah. Ask about Rajan about Hallyu culture.
Yeah,
He can
that's
tell
our
you.
culture. Do you like Korea?
Yes,
Why do you like Korea?
because of the culture and tensions with our country. So I'm interested by K-pop and K-dramas. So I participate Korean classes to learn more.
Also, the political way of this Hallyu is also influenced, not culturally, but in politic ways. And Batushan studied the use involving in the political actions through this Hallyu way.
That's right. Do you have any cases?
Well, I don't know. It's a Batushan's diploma work, so I think.
Explain more. Perhaps the case of
Let's talk about the soft power and others thing in this in my diploma.
Yes,
So-
soft power, exactly. It's as I think soft power as the way of state building, image building.
Ah.
In this way, probably, because we know that the experience of Korean culture abroad shows that the country, which is economically low potential, had a lot of different ways to represent it globally. And for Kazakhstan, which is kind of fully with the materials, raw materials, I mean, with the some resources, but not really developed in the political way. For example, the politics only established in the region, but not globally. Actually, this is the true, and we should find some different ways. And we decide also, it also matched with my diploma thesis, that the national brand building, image building, is the greatest way for Kazakhstan to the experience of different states, of different countries could influence in our foreign policy, in our foreign affairs, and to represent it in a global way.
Wow, that's great observation, Professor. Because you are now recording, if I may say, that your two students are great.
Yes.
I'm so happy that you have such a great-
Your niece and nephew, you mean?
Oh yes. My niece and nephews are great students, and you have that kind of very good students. According to your observation, if I may share some points, because I study master in South Korea, Seoul National University, and I think I have some differing views on that. Let's say the first point, I think when it comes to economic development, I feel that when it comes to creative economy, they could create money, yes. But at the same time, for the case of South Korea, they have good background from industrial policy. They have heavy industrialization first, and then creative economy later. I think this is why the Korean government could have money to promote ecosystem of growing creative economy. But sometimes those who study K-pop and K-creative things, K-wave, blah blah blah, they always say that, oh, this is the best thing, or the only one thing that Korea has. And they think Korea is rich because of this promotion of things, which I think is not the way to go. It's because Korea has Samsung, Hyundai, LG, and these companies create a lot of money for them. And then they have money to support another kind of creative economy. And I think second point, these days it seems that kind of scandals around YG, SM, I mean this kind of entertainment companies manage Korea's reputation, and it reflects another negative side of the country. So I think, especially like fandom in Southeast Asia, many fandoms criticize Korean society, Korean companies from this perspective, that oh, Korea is like this, and I feel like, oh, that's very sad because I love Korea. I mean, I had very impressive moment in the country, so I have different ideas about this. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of K-pop. I am a big fan of K-protest. Yeah, because at that time when I studied there was a candlelight movement. Yeah, that's something that I kind of observe every week. So I really enjoy my life there. And I think the third point is about soft power. Some say that South Korea promoted soft power well. I would say yes, only for cultural part. But when it comes to foreign affairs, it seems that there is a big gap between cultural popularity and soft power in foreign policy. And this is a big gap because it means that, for me, South Korea could not translate this kind of cultural popularity into real power in world politics. Because when it comes to North Korea issue, the traveling of the K-pop band, I forget the name. The K-pop band who visited Kim Jong-un at that time. Red Velvet visited North Korea. And conflict still going on. So what's the point of having Red Velvet visited North Korea? It's nothing. BTS, nothing. With foreign affairs. I mean, it means something in terms of cultural popularity, but perhaps it's nothing in terms of foreign affairs. So then there's a big gap between this. But to be honest, if we change the question, then what is the source of soft power in international affairs? Yeah, that's my question. I mean, perhaps we have to separate because I think these days Kazakhstan is discussing middle power, and to be a middle power you need soft power because we have limited hard power. That's why you have to exercise soft power. So when it comes to power, it means that's something that it's not only what you have, but also how you project yourself. Image building. That's great. I really like it. Image building, one thing, and how you project yourself internationally. I think this is one thing that people will like it. The reason why I come to Kazakhstan, if I have to share with my niece and nephew, is that I see strategic importance of your country. Yeah. And we have
Right.
many share similar characteristics. Even the name of our country, Thailand, Kazakhstan, the land of free people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even the name, we share that characteristic. Land of free people. So that's why when I come here, oh, we look very similar. My face, like my communication style. Oh, I think we share this characteristic. So we can start from this, and we can do many things in terms of people-to-people connectivity. And that's all from my observation.
That's great. I have no words to express how glad am I that I'm here, that I could listen your words. So, and think it would be helpful for Baturjan for his diploma thesis.
He will contact you because he is doing his diploma thesis on Korea.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'm here to support my niece and nephew.
Yeah.
So if you want support from Uncle Seksan, just let Professor.
So tell me that it's first time you're called Uncle Seksan. Really?
Yeah, this is my first time someone call me uncle. But I'm happy to be called as uncle because my niece and nephew are clever. I like that.
See, it's Baturjan invention. He started calling all the professor uncle.
I think it's binding. Binding, but if you cannot do it now, okay, let's extend 1 or 2 years. It's this way. If you work with ASEAN, as friends from ASEAN, you when you meet them, you will say that ASEAN is so flexible. So it's about the word. It's binding, they call it binding. But it's more about flexibility. Okay, Biden already, but we are not ready now. Can we extend more few years? Okay, why not? And that's the point. But if you are too Biden like EU, then you have Brexit. So I think that's the case, and I think Brexit is the case that when you leave the region, it's worse than
Yes.
what you were right. You left. Yeah, like these days, and if you want to like CBAM, in the EU there's a carbon border adjustment mechanism, a CBAM. So UK has no exception from CBAM because it's like that. And then when UK has to do something like custom something at the border of EU, you have to follow like other countries. I think it's really bad and really sad for them. You lost the kind of visa privilege. You lost the kind of something that we call exchange, and also economic development, trade and investment. So what's the point? I think this is why many countries, when they see the case, we have to stick together. It's more like that. But okay, maybe it is slow, as I said, because the nature of the people in the region is not so slow. But if you push too much, then why to leave? Just leave. And I think I would say these days there is a rise nationalism in many countries. And I think nationalism here, if we use it constructively, it's fine. If we use it for increased productivity, it's fine. But when you use it to destroy other countries or blame other countries, then it's a big problem, I think.
Yes.
Right? I think it's a very big issue because some countries may use nationalism to kind of raise the issue or to blame other countries. Yeah, I think this is a problem. And it's now rising. And I think this is the problem of the geopolitical competition that brings us a kind of unilateralism, nationalism, extremism.
And some other isms.
Yeah, that's right. Different from the year I was born, 1990. People were happy to cooperate. The end of the Cold War, the first Cold War, right? Yeah, people were happy to cooperate. People were happy to build the WTO. But now people were like, oh, we want to leave regional organization. Yeah.
Okay. Great to hear like someone could speak so fluently and the Thai was so harmonical. mostly like music for me. So that's why I thought that it would be great to study on time, but then I understood that I have a low potential in it. So
You're just saying
Difficult.
this.
It's
Yeah, is it?
difficult, yeah. It's difficult. Do you have any Thai studies department?
No, no. So we have the windows of opportunity.
Yeah, we should start.
If you will educate those two very talented kids, they might be the first in our history specialists in area studies from the Central Asia on Thailand.
That's right.
I've never heard, I don't know, I might be mistaken, but I've never heard about other Central Asian colleagues who has an expertise on Thailand. Maybe on ASEAN, yeah?
Yeah, maybe
As an
ASEAN.
ASEAN, but
But not on
on, no.
specification on Thailand isn't something that quite developed in Kazakhstan.
That's
I think
right.
that's
Yeah. No, we still have the things, the holes to fill, yeah? African studies is
right.
the disaster for us.
Regional studies.
Latin America is something that we are not, let us say, not we do not have such a brilliant expertise on that. Yeah.
Hello, my niece and nephews. Today I'm going to share with you the full name of my country's capital, Bangkok. Hear it carefully. กรุงเทพมหานครอมรรัตนโกสินทร์มหินทรายุทธยามหาดิลกพบนพรัตน์ราชธานีบุรีรมย์อุดมราชนิเวศมหาสถานอมรพิมานอวตารสถิตศักดิ์กทัตติยะวิษณุกรรมประสิทธิ์
Oh my God.
I'm impressed.
How many words?
I could not count because I could remember because there was a song. There was a Thai song by a Thai singer singing this one. Make it in like rhythmic. Yeah. So I can share with you. Like, I will open for you. Wait.
I think we are the nation who speaks one of the easiest languages of the world. Because Turkic language with the Singarmonia rule is easy.
It's still advertising.